And again, I'm leading you to understand that reality behind this world is God Himself. Just like you watch a cinema show, all that you are experiencing through the show is unreal. But as long as you are interested in the show, it doesn't matter. Similarly, all that you are experiencing through your life is unreal. But then there is a spiritual sadhana process by which you awaken yourself from the state of ignorance to the state of enlightenment. Om Nilambujasyyamal Komalangam Sita Samaropita Vamabhagam Panau Maha Sayaka Charu Chapam Namami Ramam Raghuvanshanatham. Adorations to Lord Rama, whose complexion is like a blue lotus, who is very tender and delightful in appearance. Sita is seated on his left side and is carrying a powerful bow and arrow in his hands. In the Ramayana, by Sri Swami Dasji, Ramcharitmanas, Balakanda, Doha number 110. Parvati Devi has asked Lord Shiva to relate to her the story of Rama. All the subtler details about Parvati and Shiva we have already explained. But now we are entering into the study of Rama and his glories. In a storyline, Shiva is seated under a spiritual tree, and Parvati is asking the question, Puni Prabhu kahahu so tattva bakhani, yahi Vijnana bagana muni jnani. O Lord, please explain to me that subtle truth about Rama, for the realization of which sages are ever immersed in a joyous pursuit. Also, please relate to me Bhakti, Jnana, Vijnana, and Vairagya. For spiritual progress, these points are of extreme importance. Bhakti is to bring in divine love in your heart. What you are pursuing is to discover absolute love. Just to remind you of how all living beings, they are dominated by aspiration for fulfillment of love, which implies to love and to be loved. Your soul has been moving from body to body, making this experiment. And it fails in the world of transient status. एक दिल के टुकड़े हजार हुए, कुछ इधर गिरे, कुछ उधर गिरे. Filmy song of India. a heart aspiring to find love gets broken into pieces. Some pieces fall here, some pieces fall there. Through many embodiments, in each embodiment, you have let some pieces of your heart fall. But when you experience divine love, the whole instinctive urge to find love and to be loved, that reaches absolute fulfillment when the soul comes to realize God is the embodiment of love and allows the whole personality to flow towards God. In the ultimate state, the soul discovers, I am that. You are essentially the divine self. This is brought about by statement of saintly statement. Lali mere lal ki jit dekhaun chit lal. I went out to see the beauty of my beloved. As the mind advanced, I began to see that divine beloved everywhere. Lali dekhan mai chali, I went out to look for that beloved. But I myself became that. A river went out to meet her beloved, the ocean. And when she enters into the ocean, she becomes the ocean. So that's bhakti, devotion. Jnana, intellectual understanding. But there's a difference between academic knowledge and spiritual knowledge. For receiving spiritual knowledge, you have to be in a proper environment with proper discipline. In other words, if through satsanga, as your mind absorbs divine insights, your intellect begins to understand, who am I? And of course, in a simple language, you describe it, that you are not the body, you are not the mind, you are not the intellect, you are not the ego. Essentially, you are Satchidananda. Essentially, you are Brahman, the Absolute. That knowledge, gaining that with clarity, that's the purpose of study of scriptures. But having gained that intellectual, while you are gaining that intellectual knowledge, it is to be assimilated by manana and nididhyasana. Manana is reflection. Nididhyasana is mind flowing in meditation. So as you assimilate the intellectual knowledge and turn into experience, that's called Vijnana in this context. Jnana is theoretical knowledge. Vijnana is intuitional knowledge. And Vairagya, detach and attach. As you begin to understand the truth, of course, that understanding is progressive. You begin to develop dispassion towards layers of illusion. And that's called Vairagya movement, and I will not detail too much on this. And also describe to me Parvati Devi's pleading before Shiva. All the details about Bhakti, Jnana, Vijnana, and Vairagya. Aurau Rama rahasya aneka, kahu natha ati vibala viveka, And, and all the subtle secrets that relate to this story of Rama. Please explain all that to me. जो प्रभु मैं पूछा नहीं होई, सो दयाल राखौ जनि गोई. O Lord, who is the embodiment of purity and wisdom, Vimal Viveka, please also tell me of things that I have not asked for. Do not keep anything hidden from me. Subtle point to understand is, if you gain spiritual knowledge of the highest level, Aham Brahmasmi, I am Brahman, nothing now left aside. Nothing is left for you to know further. The Upanishad defines that knowledge. What is that knowing which all is known? And the answer is given by knowing Brahman. Always understand that all your knowledge through your mind, intellect, senses, all that knowledge is not reality. And that doesn't require much understanding. Think of the play of your brain, of your nervous system. Put your fingers at the brain centers, just like you do on your computer. And different types of experiences will arise, led by your karma. You experience countless things in your daily life, but all your experiences are interpreted by your brain centers. Change the material of your brain, change the whole nervous system. And that occurs by reincarnations, also by karmic change. What I'm leading you to understand, your liberation, the knowledge, is not fully grasped by your brain and nervous system. That knowledge is beyond your all this. And simple illustration that you have in daily life is your sleep. The experience of your sleep goes beyond your body, senses, mind, intellect, ego. In the same way, the absolute realization of Brahman requires that you develop intuitional insight into I am, not the body, not the mind, not the intellect. I am Brahman. Tum tribhuvan guru ved vakhana, an jiva power ka jana. You are the guru of the three lokas. Lokas are generally translated as three worlds, three planes. And for the masses, all that is on the earth is Bhurloka. All that is above this earth move towards the sky, Bhuarloka. And that which is the ultimate limit is Swarloka. But this interpretation is childish. The real interpretation is Bhurloka refers to your experiences through your mind and senses. Your practical reality of day-to-day life, a world where you have to carry your ID and passport and work with banks and things of that nature, where everything has a perfect detail. That's the Bhurloka. Bhuvarloka, the world of your feelings, your sentiments. And Swarloka, the world of your understanding. You are a blend of these three lokas. If you don't understand it, you become a loco. You become localized. So, Parvati Devi says to Shiva, you are Tribhuvan Guru. You are the Guru of the three lokas. The spiritual wisdom touches all the three planes of your personality. Those who are Pamar Jiva, souls with little knowledge, they do not know the subtlety about it. What it means is, majority of people, whenever they are told about knowing something, their concept is always on their intellect, intellectual knowledge. And intellectual knowledge is never absolute. It's always little. The more you know, the more you realize there is much more to know. That I have explained always with the candle flame. In a dark night, burn a candle and ask the candle, how big is the circle of darkness? How much is the field of the unknown? And the candle will describe it in simple terms, so many feet of radius. But as you start allowing the candle flame to have more brightness, if you increase the wattage, the circle of darkness goes on expanding. The more your intellect knows about science, its progress, the more become involved in the understanding the immense knowledge that awaits you. In other words, there is no conclusion. So all the knowledge of the world presented by science and geography and all different forms of studies, all branches of study, they come under the category of alp knowledge. Alp means little. An intellect that has become extremely a great scholar is still endowed with little knowledge. But knowledge that allows you to become enlightened and to behold the entire universe as Brahman, that's called Bhuma, the real Jnana, the real knowledge. For simple understanding, I have also given you all knowledge that you are receiving through your mind, intellect, and senses. They are like the light of the sun that comes to the earth planet, and it has countless illuminations. If you will develop the art of studying all the illuminations, which is an immense job, even illuminations that occur in a single day cannot come within your books. But even if you have all that knowledge and you don't have the knowledge of the sun, you are a dull wit. So if you have all the knowledge, but you don't have the knowledge of the source, And that source of all knowledge is Brahman, the Absolute. That's described as God. Prashna Uma Kay Sahaj Suhai, Chalabihin Suni Shiva Mana Bhai. This question of Parvati Devi delighted Lord Shiva's heart. Chalbihin. The question was without any insincerity. Harahi Ramcharit sab aaye, prem pulak lochan jal chaaye. Shri Raghunath Rupa Ura Ava, Paramanandamit Sukha Pava. Prior to relating to Parvati the story of Rama, Lord Shiva entered into a state of ecstasy. When something is asked of you, and if you know that with such detail, then in a loving relationship, it is a joyous opportunity. And so there is a bit of a pause. His whole body was thrilled with joy, and eyes filled with tears, joyous tears. The divine form of Rama appeared within his heart. And Lord Shiva experienced infinite joy. Magan dhyana rasa danda jug, punimana bahar kin, Raghupati charita mahesa tab, harashita varanaya leen. For a certain duration, he continued immersed in ecstasy. And then he externalized his mind and began to describe the glory of Rama. All this is introductory to the Ramayana, and they are giving you subtle insight into the whole Ramayana. Jhuteu satya jahi binu jane, jimi bhujanga binu raju pahichane, yahi jane jag jai erai, jage jatha sapana brahma jai. The whole Vedantic teaching is summed up in these lines. When you do not know, then that which is false appears as real. The example, snake on the rope. In semi-darkness, you become frightened. You may have a heart attack as well. But someone brings light, and now we see what frightened you was just a rope. So the difference between knowing and not knowing. Knowing is just a rope. Not knowing, it is snake. Here, knowing and not knowing. You have to understand knowing where intellect becomes intuitional, not the brain work, not the work of the nerves. Knowledge which transcends all this as and is intuitional. That knowledge. And every individual has the potentiality to gain that knowledge. That's the mystery of life. It's just like you go on experiencing dream. Jahi jane jag jai herai. And if you know that Brahman, the entire world that you experience, the world experience is time, space, causation. I tell it about www. When, where, why. As long as your mind is engrossed in these, there is this world process. Just like in dream. As long as you are dreaming, you are harassed by your dream experiences if they are negative. When you wake up, you don't give blame to anybody else. Because you realize all that you had in your dream was false. But as long as you considered dream experience real, it was a real trouble. Similarly, as your intuitional knowledge advances, you begin to understand, look at the world, all things of this world are changing. Look at human beings. They are growing older. Whatever you look at is perishable. So, and again, I'm leading you to understand that reality behind this world is God Himself. Just like you watch a cinema show. All that you are experiencing through the show is unreal. But as long as you are interested in the show, it doesn't matter. Similarly, all that you are experiencing through your life is unreal. But then there is a spiritual sadhana process by which you awaken yourself from the state of ignorance to the state of enlightenment. Bandam bal roop soi ramu, sab vidhi sulabh japat jisu namu. I adore, bow down to Rama as a child. Because as the story starts, Rama plays his childhood role. What is implied that when you hear about God and all the immensity about God, it becomes difficult for your mind to handle God. But the subtler mystery, love of a child is inherent in every human heart. If you are a good human being, every baby is lovable, men and women alike. You can bring God in your heart with as simplicity, spontaneity, and ease as a mother brings the baby in her heart and feel nourished by that relationship. Now just two. In Bhakti movement, there are 5 stages. Shanta, turning to God without any definite expression, keeping the movement secret. That's called Shanta Bhav. Turning to God as a slave to the master. The words are very poor. Consider yourself being supported by God, and you are completely taken care of as His instrument. That's called Dasya Bhav. Next is called Vatsalya Bhav. Consider God as a baby and enjoy the love of God. It can be other way around also. Consider yourself a baby and God as the divine mother or the divine father. Next type of attitude is called Sakya Bhav, friendly attitude. Consider God as your most close friend, very profound friend, and you have no hesitation in expressing your feelings. And even if you rebuke him, you don't feel bad about it. And finally, it is called Madhurya Bhav. That feeling of supreme sweetness. So, Lord Shiva points first to the beginning stage of Bal Roop, Vatsalya Bhav. Turn your attention to Rama as a baby and see all the stories related to baby Rama. How does he move in the royal court of King Dasharatha, and etc., etc. An inspiring literature has evolved from all sages. Mangala Bhavana Amangala Hari, Dhruvau Dasharatha Ajira Bihari. Lord Rama is the abode of Mangal. Mangal is term means auspiciousness. All people all over the world, they're always interested what is auspicious and what is suspicious. That which is suspicious is ominous. Good omen or negative omen. The Sanskrit word mangal has a profound meaning. And that's my contribution to its interpretation. Mangal, that which allows your mind to dissolve. Gal term is to dissolve. Try to understand that point. Anything fulfilling comes to you, then what happens? Mind calms down. And that's the indication of something positive has happened. And a series of things should happen in your life that ultimately leads to manonash, mind completely illumined by divine grace. So that process in which mind begins to melt, that's spiritual success. That process in which mind begins to collect more impurities, mind begins to swell. That's not swell. May that Rama, playing in the courtyard of King Dasharatha as a child, may that child Rama shower his grace on me. So Lord Shiva introduces Rama in this fashion. Subtle point is, turn to God, but not God of problems, God of that turns your mind into a whirlpool. Heard so many questions. Where is he? What is he? Who is he? But God who allows your mind to feel that you have found source of tender love, and that tender love is growing in your heart. And that tender love, dramatized in a practical way, view God as a baby. So that's the purpose of describing stories of Rama as a child, stories of Krishna as a child. Kari pranama Rama hi tripurari, harashi sudha samagira uchari. Shiva, who is the destroyer of Tripura, is another way of presenting ignorance as Tripura, a demon that keeps your soul confined to three lokas: the body, the feelings, sentiments, intellect, understanding. That ignorance is known as Tripura, ruler over three planes. And Lord Shiva destroyed the Tripura. That's in Shiva Puran. That Shiva offered adorations to Rama, and his heart filled with joy. He brought out nectarine words through his mouth. And he said, Dhanya Dhanya Giriraj Kumari, Tum saman nahi ko upakari. O daughter of the king of mountains, Himalayas, O Parvati, glory to you, glory to you. There is no one greater, doer of good to all humanity, to all the world, as yourself. A deep and profound interest in developing devotion to God and leading your life to enlightenment. That resolves all the problems that humanity faces. That's the purpose of life. Puchehu Raghupati Katha Prasanga, Sakal Jo Lok Jagatavani Ganga, Tum Raghubir Charana Anuragi, Kinhu Prashna Jagatahi Talagi. You have asked about the story of Rama. That story of Rama is like the Ganga river for the purification of all the planes, all the lokas. You have asked this question for the good of all. You are supremely devoted to the lotus feet of Rama. Rama kripate Parvati, sapnehu tava manamahi, shokam moha sandeha brahm, mama vichara kachunahi. O Parvati, by Rama's grace, your mind is free of shok, grief, moh, delusion, sandeh, doubt, brahm, illusion. If mind is not being led to devotion and to spiritual enrichment, then your mind becomes a prey to grief, delusion, doubt, and various illusions. And spirituality is the cure for these. So try to understand. Tadapi asanka ki nahu soi, kahat sunat sab karhit hoi. O Parvati, you are free of all this moha, delusions, doubt about Rama. And yet you have presented this question, and it is for the sake of the whole world. Kahat sunat sab karhit hoi. Those who will hear the story, those who will relate the story to others, and thereby it will work wonders for uplifting all. Jinh hari katha suni nahi kana, shavan randhrai bhavan samana. Those people who have not heard the story of Rama. Try to understand also, whenever I say story of Rama, it relates to story of God. And story doesn't mean story. It relates a whole process of understanding God and realizing God. That's the broad reading the Ramayana with a limited mind that, oh, Ramayana says Rama. So we shouldn't turn to Krishna. But that's not at all, that's not the meaning of Ramayana. Ram Katha is the story of God. And God is one and the same, absolute. So, while human ears are always eager to listen to news, and news go on breaking every moment. Listen to Ram Katha. Any spiritual teaching that enlightens you is Ram Katha. And keeping that view in your mind, Ramayana is a crystallized Ram Katha. Jin hari katha suni nahi kana, shavan randhra ahi bhavan samana. Those people who have not listened to Ram Katha, Hari Katha, their ears are hollows for the residence of snakes. All the gossips, all the nasty things that you hear, they're all those snakes. So it's another point to understand. If you bring in your daily life, in your family, or gather some neighborhoods as well, and create a little satsanga atmosphere. Bring out the story of Rama. Let the children enjoy it, the adults enjoy it, and create an environment of turning the mind towards God. If that is done from the very baby stage, and be careful not to give the idea of limitation or narrow-mindedness. That is to say, if others are saying God by other names, reverence them. Nayanani dasant darasa nahi dekha, lochana mora pankha karalekha. And those people who have not beheld saintly people, because it is through saintly association that we begin to listen to the story of Rama. And those who have not come to that saintly association, simple way to understand satsanga. When you look at satsanga, your eyes should shine. If you have not been brought to that experience, your eyes are like the eyes printed on the peacock feathers. well adored, shining. Te sur katumbari samatula, jena namata hari guru padamula. And the head that does not bow down to God and Guru, the feet of God, feet of Guru, that head is just a bitter cucumber. And with this, I'm going to conclude. Om Purnamadaha Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.